Hey everyone, Eric Thompson here. Hope that you are doing well and welcome back to the channel, okay? It's been a while since I've posted any vlogs or anything like this, except for little things with Hannah and some music that Tori and I did recently, but today is a good day to vlog. As you can see here around me, on my face, right there is the last light of 2013. The sun about to go down here in Georgetown, Kentucky, in a beautiful day here in Georgetown, and a good time to reflect not only on 2013, but on the year to come. And so as the title of this video suggests, I wanted to go through my New Year's revolutions. Not resolutions, but revolutions. And just a play on words, but of course you're familiar with that term resolution, where we're going to resolve to do something different or better or more or less than we did in the year before. And that's a fantastic concept and one that I've observed for a long time. But this year, I thought, what about a New Year's revolution? That is something that my life revolves around. What are the things my life revolves around right now? What are the things that your life revolves around right now? And in the new year, can we change some of those things or change priorities or try to maybe try something new, get our lives to revolve around a new idea or a new activity, a new focus? And so, of course, it's still a resolution, but I also like to use that language of a New Year's revolution, something that, again, you can set in the middle of your life and revolve around in 2014. And so I have a few things that I'm going to try to do in the new year, and I wanted to share a few things that maybe you could try to do as well. And so here are some things that I know Eric Thompson wants to work on in the new year, things that I want to revolve around. And first and foremost is my faith in Jesus Christ. I want to deepen in my faith. I like to think, and I hope that faith is already a central part of my life, that I'm already revolving around it. But I want to make my faith an all more important and central part of my life. I want to reflect more on it and grow in it, deepen it, and of course, learn to express my faith better to others, hopefully to be a good witness to people, to bring them into the love of God and to encourage their life, to support them in whatever they're going through, and to be just to be a helpful person, to be a joyful person, to be a happy person, to be a positive person in someone else's life because of what God has done for me through Jesus Christ. And so definitely want to, as much as I can, deepen in my faith. One of the things that I don't do a lot of now, I don't read a lot. Books are not something that my life revolves around, unlike my sweet wife, Tori, who very much revolves around literature and knowledge of literature. Some of you know she's been recently tutoring online, and often, she's asked to do lessons or to give a lesson that's based on, a certain text or something like that. And so some people definitely revolve around books in a very powerful way, thinking also, of course, of my dear friend Mary Lou and many other book-type friends. Well, that's not me, but I want to revolve more closely around books in the new year. I already watch plenty of movies, I already play plenty of games and listen to lots of music. I want to read more in this coming year. Maybe you do too. And so I've got some great books already lined up, some books on religion and faith, theology, that'll hopefully reflect and help me to strengthen my revolution around my faith. But also I want to read the journals of Lewis and Clark. And I want to go back and maybe reread Lord of the Rings. I'd love to do that. I read The Hobbit recently. Would love to go back and read Lord of the Rings again. Maybe the Chronicles of Narnia and some of those classics, at least classics to me. Another thing, I guess a revolution indeed, it was a big part of 2013 was the AFI Top 100. I left off on number 55, okay? So I didn't even get halfway through it in a whole year. And I was so ambitious at the beginning too. But I really, really want to finish it this year, to get all the way from 54, which I think is MASH. I think it's MASH. I think the Deer Hunter is, maybe it's the Deer Hunter. I think it's MASH. To get all the way from MASH to number 1 on the AFI Top 100. And so that's going to take some balance, because that's a big project, and to revolve around that over the coming year will take a lot of time and a lot of effort, but it's been a fun project, and I know many of you have enjoyed those videos. Thank you for liking those and sharing them, and for joining me in that journey, and so that's going to continue. One of the most important things, not the most important thing, but one of the most important things that I want to revolve my life around in the coming year is my health. The Mountain Man diet went really, really well in 2013. I didn't do it for quite a year. In May, I think it'll be 1 year. May? I think in May, yes. And so my goal is to reach 200 pounds. I want to weigh 200 pounds by the end of 2014. I think right now I'm just right around 260. I think I had just lost 40 or 42 pounds total on the Mountain Man diet. Gained a little back over the Christmas season. You know how that goes. And for those of us who work in the church world, it seems that there's always a box of chocolates or bourbon balls in the South, of course, or cookies or whatever it is, butter cake, or just a lot of butter and salt and sugar. And so getting past the holidays, very helpful. I'm going to begin that process again with renewed vigor. And so 60 pounds, pretty much, in 2014. That amounts to about 5 pounds a month. Break it down even further, and more terrifyingly, a pound a week. But the revolution in that instance is my health. Hannah, of course, being a great reality check. Do I want to have more time with her? And I do. In fact, this morning I played a funeral for a gentleman who was 97 years old. And very humbling, just really humbling to think about that. 97 years old. He had 9 kids, 55 grandchildren, so on and so forth. I'm not saying that Tori and I are going to have 9 kids or that one day I'll have 55 grandchildren, but to think of that legacy and that lineage, and wow, I'd really like to enjoy something like that, but at least to enjoy a long life, to have many more revolutions around special and important things in my life. So, health. And finally, not really finally, lots of things to work on, but I want to continue with YouTube. And this is something I've not talked about with a lot of people. I'd like to do a lot more on YouTube, not only having to do with movies or music, but some games too. I want to get into gaming. As many of you know, I play a lot of video games and I enjoy it very much. It's very popular on YouTube to post your gameplay and do commentaries and that kind of stuff. I guess this is sort of a moment of bravery for me just saying it, but I really would like to be a more present Christian witness in the YouTube gaming community. A lot of men and women who post on YouTube, they talk about religion, they talk about faith, they talk about God and Jesus and the church, but there's not a voice there to be an apologist for the faith. A lot of it's just hate, just hacking and slashing and making fun of it, or maybe just not understanding and saying, I don't get this. Why do they believe this? Why does the church teach this? That kind of stuff. I want to be a more vocal voice. Well, that's a way to say it, a vocal voice on YouTube for the Christian faith. I don't know how that's going to play out. I don't even know if 2014 is the time to do that, but there it is. More on that if and when it happens. Okay, now quickly, here are some things that I would hope for all of you. I'm going to switch my hand because this hand's getting a little, this hand's getting really sore. Maybe it's the weather. Do I have arthritis? Can you have arthritis at 29? I'm sure you can. Anyway, 3 things that I want for all of you, all of my viewers and my friends who watch these videos, who watch these vlogs. 3 simple things. 1, be kind to yourself in 2014. Jesus, of course, said famously, the golden rule, love your neighbor, meaning love everyone, as you love yourself. How have you been loving yourself in 2013? How have you been taking care of yourself? What kind of things do you speak to yourself and to your own life? In talking with a lot of people over the course of 2013, one of the things I see truly most consistently is a lot of negative self-talk. People tearing themselves down. They don't even need someone else to be critical or hurtful. We do a good enough job of it on our own, don't we? And so for 2014, try to be kind to yourself. Be gentle to yourself. Be understanding. Be merciful. Be compassionate. more on that later. I definitely want to do a couple more videos on that and maybe how that really works out. How do you do that? Okay, I want to talk more about that later on. 2, art. Art is a wonderful part of my life, and I'm very gifted and truly blessed that my profession and my career is in music. Church music, but I get to do music of all different sorts and varieties in different settings, and I really, really enjoy it. For some of you, maybe it's time to try art. Maybe it's time maybe to pick up an instrument, to open your mouth and sing, to try painting or sculpting, or maybe getting some of those big buckets of sidewalk chalk and getting out there and decorating the neighborhood. I don't know what it is. Art's an incredibly beautiful and powerful gift to enjoy. Every person has a capacity to make art to some degree, perhaps writing. Many of my friends participated in the, what's it called, Miss Tori? She's not here to answer that question. Why did I say that? But the National Novel Writing Month, NaNoWriMo, whatever it is. Wow, amazing to follow their progress. People who wrote a novel in 1 month. Amazing. Wow. And they really enjoyed that process. It turned a lot of people's lives around, that kind of discipline. Maybe that's not for you. Maybe just writing a little bit of poetry every day, or a little short story, or a little prompt. I don't know. But I would encourage you all to engage in art to whatever degree. Finally, and this sort of relates back to being kind to yourself. A friend of mine, I've mentioned this before, I think, said that when they prayed to God, they felt sort of like they were getting a voicemail machine. And they would leave God a voicemail and hope that God would get back to them in the coming days or weeks or months or years, or hopefully at some point in their lifetime. Well, that's a way to look at it for sure, and I felt that way too often. You throw up a prayer and maybe God hears you. I'm pretty sure that God hears us, but, does God respond? Does God get back to us, as it were? But that can also cause a lot of frustration, as you can well imagine. My challenge to all of you, to set a revolution around gratitude. And again, this is also a way of being kind to yourself, because you're recognizing the positive things that happen in your day-to-day life. But consider this. At the end of every day, 365 days, I guess, is what they say thank you, God, and find one thing in that day. So you're going to start tomorrow, January 1st. At the end of January 1st, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, before you go to bed, when you're eating dinner, whatever it is, say thank you, God, for, and then thank God for whatever it was that happened in your life that's worthy of thanks. I know, I'm certain all of us can find one thing to be thankful for in our lives. To say, thank you, God, for that one thing. You can certainly thank God that you lived through the day, and that you made it to evening, and that you'll rise the next day, and you'll enjoy another day in His blessings. Perhaps you want to thank God for your faith, or for your family, for your kids, for the gifts that He has given you, for the gifts of art, or business, or whatever it is that you do really, really well. You can also thank God that you're being challenged in new ways to grow, to be a better person. Make 2014 a year of gladness and thanksgiving, and try to end each day with that simple prayer, that simple prayer. Thank you, God, for, and then you put in the rest, okay? I'm going to check back with you on that later in 2014 and see how that's going. See how you've been thanking God for what He's doing in your life. God is present, active and at large in the world, and we can all give Him thanks and praise for something in our lives. You still might get the voicemail machine, but wouldn't it be great if we could leave God a voicemail that said, Lord, I thank you for, you fill in the blank. Well, friends, those are my New Year's revolutions for me and for you. Thank you as always for watching. Hey, like and subscribe if you care to, okay? Like this video on Facebook, like this video on YouTube, share it with your friends, especially if you know someone who needs a little nudge in the new year. A new, maybe a little bit of encouragement, a little bit of enthusiasm to get started on the right foot in 2014. And I do thank you so much for watching, and as always, hope that you are Doing well. Thanks, everyone. Bye. Ha.